Well, let's go ahead and hop into the game. Dark versus Arthur. And we're going to kick things off on Daybreak. So starting in the bottom left, we have from Team Slayers, the green Zerg, who took out the STC in very fantastic 3-game set. If you didn't watch it, please go watch it. It was a really good display of late game control and strong defense. It is Slayers Dark.
And it looks like he has the account, the legendary account or whatever it's called. See that surround on the hatchery?
Oh, it's like the Red Cross thing.
That's what you get when you have the limited edition.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
And then you get like that Thor, right?
Yeah.
The Battle Thor.
I don't know what it is for Protoss though.
You get something for Protoss?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I would assume so. Each race gets one.
That'd be kind of cool. So that's like the decal you get for Zerg? Is it just Zerg?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, I always thought it was like they did some community service and got something for like the Red Cross. That'd be kind of cool. Like if you work in Salvation Army, you get like a giant shield. I think that's what the Salvation Army is. In the top right, we have from Team Slayers also, we have Arthur. Whether it's after the Aardvark or whether it's after the King, two very different characters in history. One was to entertain you as a kid, one was to conquer lands and completely dominate other nationalities and nations.
That's what King Arthur did?
Wasn't he? Or was King Arthur the one who did the sword and the stone?
Wasn't that? Yeah. Was it? And the Knights of the Round Table?
Oh yeah, and then oh yeah, I think that is. I'm really bad at history, Andre. And it was really funny. I told Mr. Bear that I would love to be a history teacher one day. I think I'd be making up the most wrong stories, but the kids would believe me because it sounds really cool. I'd be like, yeah. Like, Julius Caesar led us through World War I. It was fantastic. And the kid's like, yeah, I love Caesar. It's like, well, he wasn't actually even American. And they all failed their AP history exam. But it's okay because they learned a lot from me. They had fun.
Not to be so gullible. That's the life lesson you teach them.
I would teach them to test everything. Not believe everything you say.
Exactly. Most standard play we could be seeing from both these players, of course, Forge Fast expansion. Next is before Forge. And we should be pretty soon seeing double assimilators being popped down. Zerg is able to get their hatchery. It is not pylon blocked, but of course we can expect that with the Nexus first.
Ooh. You see a probe immediately hidden in the top left, so probably going to drop something, either tech or proxy pylon really quick. Whoa, but the Zergling senses it. He smells it. He's tracking the probe's scent. Except he saw the probe and kind of left it alone.
Nope.
So. He didn't see it, probe?
He didn't see it.
Oh, wow. That's actually really inconvenient.
So unfortunate. I mean, that's the worst.
Yeah,
man.
you're being really
so
diligent.
Close. Yeah. You think you've done everything, and it's just like, oh my gosh.
It's like when you're searching the keys, and you literally feel like you search every part of the couch, but it's just like that one, because you just didn't reach deep enough, but it's like in the depths of the couch where you can't see, so you have to like look away, and you're reaching down in there.
It's the worst, man.
It is. It's awful. It's an awful feeling, and I mean, it's really going to pay off dividends for Arthur, but Slayers Dark could be in a lot of trouble, considering last time we were on this map, Arthur went for a really quick gateway rush.
The gateway rush did a lot of damage to Spanishiwa over there. But Dark is another player. I'm very interested to see how his EVP is. His EVT was absolutely phenomenal. But this is definitely a matchup where if you get behind in that mid-game stage like he did sometimes against the STC, you really... It's a lot harder to get back, I think. PvZ is very unforgiving for both sides. So we'll see how he's able to do this. A lot of times he favored passivity instead, where he should have been attacking a lot of the times. That can really hurt you in PvZ, especially with the new transition into Carrier Void Ray.
Yeah,
that we've been seeing.
The composition that Real used to use a lot when he was back on Type Gaming, and a lot of Protoss have been trying to incorporate it. Squirrel's been trying to do it. MC also tried experimenting with it a little bit. And eventually when you get to that really late game composition where you can kind of use that Stargate all throughout stages of the game, which is really cool. It just really starts... Zergs don't really know how to deal with it too well, and if you fall really behind, you don't have a great answer to it. So. You can see the Stargate immediately placed down for Arthur, but he is getting a really quick +1 as well. In fact, that was the first 100 gas he used it for. So he might go for the same kind of pressure he did in Game 1 against Spanishiwa, considering he has that probe in the top left as well.
How do you feel about Void Rays on Daybreak? Because this is something we don't ever see. Like, Void Rays are super rare. And this might be scouted out pretty soon here, too. Oh, my God. It's just inches away. There it is.
No, he spots it. He spots it. He knows.
From here, I think you should just keep the Overlord. Be like, oh, Stargate, thanks.
Yeah, in fact, you don't really need to see much else, but the Overlord's going to poke in, and
oh my God, he's gonna get the gateways as well.
Yeah, he's going to see the gateways, and it's all because he was baiting the Overlord at the natural. The two Stalkers are focusing that instead of the one the main. So.
Oh my God, Hero Overlord! If he makes it out alive,
he will. Oh, he will. The Stalkers are trying to catch after him, but
okay, Dark wins just for this Overlord, man. Wait.
Oh, no, that Overlord's
no, maybe he's not going to win.
No. Oh, that's okay. But, I mean, the Overlord has definitely served his purpose, although it's a pretty nasty supply block. He should be okay. And the big thing, here's the big thing. The creep tumors at the third base.
And not only that, look at Metabolic Boost. It's a lot further along than last time around. Metabolic Boost got started far in advance. And I think he should be able to defend against this pretty easily. Let's go ahead and see. As you said, the creep tumors are very nice. They're not only spread to the third, but connected between the bases, allowing the queens to get into the action.
Yes. And we can see the Spore Caller will finish up momentarily, so the Void Wraiths won't be able to push him too far. The Queens getting zoned in by the Zealots. We were talking about that earlier, how the Zealots can just keep chasing it. Oh, the Void Wraith able to keep in pace and charge directly onto that Queen. And there's no chance to use on the second Queen, so that Queen will immediately drop. That's actually a nice small win for Arthur, but he's not done yet. He has to really make sure to snipe these Queens and keep his Void Wraith alive. You can see that no other units really other than two Void Wraiths have been made. No follow-up Phoenixes. Zealot's doing a phenomenal job keeping the Queens out. And Dark's kind of underestimating the power of the Zealots. Might lose a second or the third Queen. And all three Queens drop with another one just popping out. So.
And you know what? Frodan, he was slow to the draw with making additional Queens. And now this hatchery is so far out of position. This one Void Ray, oh my God, he needs to target down the hatchery. There he goes, finally. The Spore Crawler is going to lift up, but two Void Rays are enough. He can go ahead and just kill that immediately.
This is so much damage.
Oh my goodness,
the fact is anything that pops out immediately can get dropped as well. Another Queen trying to rush the scene, but immediately 60 health dropped in just a blink of an eye. You see a counterattack with Roaches from Dark at the front. What does Arthur really have? He's got two sentries and Immortal just popped out. Look at that timing. He should be completely fine considering he has that Immortal.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky. You can't actually engage against these Roaches. Just let him kill your Cyber Core, everything like that. It's just a couple of minerals here and there. In the meantime, where are those Void Rays? Did he kill those Void Rays?
Yeah, the Void Rays actually died because he was too busy trying to position his Immortal. But the Spore Caller got underneath it. The Queen also managed to get a kill as well. And I think overall it was not the biggest amount of damage, but it was still really significant. Look at the probe count compared to the workers of Zerg.
58 to 53 in favor of Protoss. Very nicely done so far. And he's still doing a little bit more economic damage, honestly.
Yeah, this is very cost-efficient trades for a Protoss player. Very nice.
So where do we go from here? I mean, it's basically the same exact game as we saw last time. He's getting his Twilight Council. He's just going to improve. Well, nope, I'm absolutely wrong. The Robotics Bay is already down. Robotics Facility is pumping out a Colossus. And this is going to be a two-base Colossus push, most likely.
He's adding on a second Forge. But he spots Roaches, so I'm interested to see if...
Oh, no.
You know.
Maybe he goes for the expansion, you think?
Well, no, I know he's going to expand, but I'm actually really curious by the second Forge, just because we're seeing Roach Hydra out of our Zerg player, and he doesn't necessarily... I don't think he saw the Hydras, he only saw Roaches, and from that, Roaches actually pretty much ignore armor because they just do a lot of damage. They have low amount of attack speed, but they hit really hard. But I guess, yeah, he's just going to go for double Forge upgrades anyways. I guess it's just part of Arthur's style. Loves that double Forge. I know Sase loves double Forge as well. It's not necessarily a wrong style. It just depends on how you like to play.
Yes, sir. Infestation Pit is going down. Still no Spire out in the way. And we're going to see a little bit of harassment. Of course, if you're going Hydras, you need to actually push forward. But Hydras... they are one of the worst units against Colossus.
Yes, Hydras, Zerglings are pretty bad against Colossus unless it's like low amount of Colossus and you get a surround. But regardless, it's all about how you control your army, right? So we see maybe Dark can make something happen. It's going to be really tough with full energy sentries. And
trying to go in for the surround. It looks like Zealot will actually block everything over. How is he actually going to do this? He needs to be careful because if he Force fields on top. He's actually going to segment himself. Roach is coming in from behind. Nice force fields go down, just stopping those units from going any farther forward. Is this going to be enough, Frodan? It looks like it will.
Yeah, or you're talking about defending. Yeah, at this point, Arthur's got that third base pretty secure, and that's kind of what Zerg wants. If you deny that third base constantly, then Protoss doesn't have that 3 gas to really get upgrades as well as heavy tech units to constantly push out Colossus. But we see that a Warp Prism actually is getting squeezed out at this point. So usually a quick Warp Prism when you're not really maxed means that you want to push in some regard. But I don't think he would want to push. He just lost almost all his sentry energy, and he only has 2 left. So I'm actually really curious to see if Arthur's just going to go for some harassment at this point.
You know, I still don't hate a push. I mean, anything he does right at this point is good. Arthur is in a commanding lead because he knows his opponent is on Hydras of all things. So a lot of gas is really spent in places where they shouldn't be. Corruptors and Infestors are the units that you want. And from here, I think if he just pushes, even though he doesn't have sentry energy, he's fine. I mean, just the sheer power of the Colossus and the ability to actually force your opponent all over the place with this Warp Prism, or even reinforce yourself, that's good.
Look at the upgrades as well. It's 2-2 against 0-1, or 1-0. So Protoss just has not only the mass advantage, but in terms of the upgrade advantage as well, because Blink's about to finish, and that's going to give him really good timing. And so this push makes a lot of sense. Great scouting from our Protoss player to really understand this. Yeah, and he's pretty much got a really big army that's really hard to confront. He needs Corruptors. Stark needs Corruptors in order to confront this army, but they're still in production. He has to be careful because misrallied from Corruptors could easily die as well.
Now let's see how the engagement is. This is pretty much a 1A army, though. I mean, you don't really have to do much about that. Zealots are behind. There he goes. Blinks back so that they can actually tank a lot of the damage.
Very nice done. Very well done by Arthur. He's pushing in here, and I mean, Dark can't really confront it at all. In fact, at this point, there's just so much DPS from the army, and the upgrades are not even done for Zerg. Look at how fast it melts. Arthur completely crushing his opponent. GG. And Arthur just playing so solid in this matchup.
Absolutely.
I don't see him taking too many big risks, and whenever he has an opening, he capitalizes perfectly and doesn't overextend. That's the best part.
He gets a small little advantage with the Void Rays. Even before, we've seen him get a disadvantage with the Void Rays and still come out ahead. His push was immaculate. I mean, and when you're going Hydras and Roaches, and that's the staple of your army, the Corruptors are for sure going to be late. That's what we had right there. Even with the Corruptors around, I think the army is just too well put together. There's too many upgrades, 2-2, Colossus, Stalkers, the War Prism to help out reinforce. Everything was in place for Arthur to take that game, and he did so very easily.
Well, we'll see what happens in game number 2, guys. This is the best of 5, so, I mean, there's a lot more. There's actually more games to prove who is the better player over time. We'll see if Tark's able to equalize, or will Arthur get a bigger lead. We'll find out after this break.